What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer, and today we got some new Apple stuff. So you guys might have heard about the new announcements that Apple made with their new iPhones. They got a couple of new colors, new iPhone SE, but the bigger news was their new Mac Studio. So that's what we've got over here, and we've also got their new monitor over here. So we're gonna unbox both of these, check them out, maybe do a little testing and see what these are like. So I guess we'll start off with the Mac, right? Makes sense. All right, let's see here. So we've got a few things. Let's see, we've got their Magic Mouse, Magic Trackpad, and Magic Keyboard. Oh, with Touch ID. Like, it didn't even occur to me that the full keyboard came out with Touch ID. We saw the smaller versions without the number pad for the colorful iMac that they released recently. But that just goes to show you that if you pick up a brand new Mac Studio, these won't be included. Ooh. Ooh. Fancy box. Okay, Apple. So if you haven't heard, this thing is an absolute powerhouse in a very compact body. Now, it is a bit larger than like your standard Mac Mini. It's kind of like two Mac Minis stacked on top of each other, but it comes with a ton of power. Now, these Mac Studios come with two chip options, one being the M1 Max, which we've seen on their current MacBook Pros, and it also comes with a brand new M1 Ultra chip, which is basically two M1 Maxes put together, and it just unlocks a load of power. Apparently, this thing is more powerful than the Mac Pros that we just bought. I'm not mad. Really, I'm not. But either way, let's get to unboxing this thing. Satisfying. So, let's see. Okay, so we've got paperwork over here at the top. We got stickers. We got the labels for all of the ports. So, follow the arrows. And you can just take it out. I mean, here we have it. It's not bad. You're not gonna take this thing around with you. Oh, but you can if you wanted. Here, Jay, try it out. Don't drop it, please.
It's heavier than I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
Jay, you gotta work out, my man. So we also get a power cable, and honestly, that's about it. There's nothing else in the box. Very, very minimalist. That's the Apple way. But I am digging the nice braided cable here. This thing is, that's quality, baby. This is nice. All right, so lift this flap. Ooh, that cold metal though. That's kind of nice. So this is the Mac Studio. Perfect for a studio setting like ours. But let's take a look at what you get in terms of like I/O and ports. So you've got in the back 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports, Ethernet port over here, your power, 2 USB-A's, HDMI, a headphone jack, power. Now in the front, you've got 2 USB-C ports. If you opt for the M1 Ultra, these are gonna be Thunderbolt 4. But since this isn't the Ultra, it's just regular USB-C. I really wish they were all Thunderbolt 4, but that's a lot of Thunderbolt 4 ports, so it kind of makes sense that the Ultra is the one that gets that. Now, what's crazy, guys, listen, 2,000 bucks. You can start with the M1 Max, 2,000 bucks. So I don't know if you guys saw when we checked out the newest MacBooks, it outperformed our Mac Pros, and since this one has the same M1 chip inside of it, chances are this is gonna outperform those as well. Now, what's crazy, guys, listen, our Macs are like 20-something thousand bucks each, and it outperformed it. That is absolutely insane, and that just goes to show you what these M1 chips are capable of, and I can only imagine the Ultras probably otherworldly.
And Mac Studio with M1 Ultra takes performance to a whole other dimension.
But we'll talk about that when we get our hands on it. Now we've also got the new monitor. So let's unbox that too. All right, I'm just gonna keep the box down there. So this is the brand new studio display. Now, I was so worried when they showed that there was gonna be a display. I was like, oh my God, they're announcing a display. I just bought a bunch of XDR displays. I've wasted money all around. This isn't quite on the level of the XDR displays, thank God. But this is supposed to be a really high quality display for honestly a fraction of the price. So this is gonna be a 27-inch 5K Retina display, but it's going to have the same, pretty much a similar form factor to the XDR display, but it comes with a built-in stand.
Nice.
And, yeah, no extra stand, but you can pay for different stand options. But this thing can go up to about 2,000 bucks altogether. All right, so we're gonna lay it down. And this is the display. Okay, so we've got our Thunderbolt cable over here and some paperwork. Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice that. The power cable's attached to the stand. Oh, it comes plugged in. Interesting. Can it be removed? Of course it can be removed, right? Yeah, it can be removed. Let me just get this off first before I keep going. Oh my, I'm destroying this. I'm doing a yeah, I'm just doing a really bad job over here. Oh my God. There we go. So this one has the nano coating, so you're not supposed to get glare or anything like that. So if you're in a room that's pretty sunny, this is probably the option that you're gonna wanna go for. It looks clean though. My goodness, Apple. Their products are so clean, it's ridiculous. So what we've got right here is a 12 megapixel web camera. I was gonna say front-facing camera, it's not a phone. But this is a new web camera that they have built into the actual display. It takes advantage of the A13 Bionic that's inside of here so that it can give you better quality when you're, of course, using the webcam. It also has the center stage feature. So just like what we've seen with the iPad, where it can lock in on your face, or even if you walk around, it can follow you and track you. All that is possible from this screen. Now, this display is also supposed to have really good speakers. So that's something that kind of sets it apart from other monitors in its category. I mean, this thing starts at $15.99. Not to mention, it has the 6 speakers built into it, the web camera, the A13, and it also has a Thunderbolt port over here, as well as a few other USB-C ports. So, you know, you've got that. I'm gonna plug this in. We're gonna take a closer look at it. Let's fiddle around with this stuff. Okay, so let's just go to YouTube. I wanna test out the sound. Let's do some lo-fi. This is solid, are you kidding me? Oh, if you put your fingers on here, you can feel the air pressure coming out from the bass. But it sounds good, it sounds really good. So that is going to be a massive, massive differentiator from this and other displays. Like, I can edit with these speakers with no problem. Like, there's no way I'd have an issue here. So now let's take a look at the, if I were to do, let's open up FaceTime. Okay, so this is where we start seeing the center stage kick in. We've got Kevin, we got myself, Jay behind the camera. It's factoring in Jay, but you might not be able to see because of this bar. So far, color me impressed with the display. I like it. Webcam isn't groundbreaking or anything, but it's probably gonna be just fine for any, Zoom calls or anything like that. And with center stage built into it, it's a nice touch. But more importantly, we gotta find out how this Mac Studio performs. All right, guys, so a couple days later, we did some testing with this guy. Wanted to see what kind of output it has. Check this out. Now, this might not be something, well, if you're looking at the Mac Studio, you should probably be interested in things like this. So we've got, what, 9 streams here of 8K footage. And this thing, look at this, guys. You can scrub through this with no issue whatsoever. Now, we did some messing around too. We did ProRes 8K, just fine. Now, 8K red raw footage, I don't know if there's a computer out there that can handle that, Jay.
Nah.
I don't think there's anybody shooting in 8K besides some crazy tech YouTubers and maybe some film studios. But I mean, the price to performance ratio that you get out of this is just absolutely insane. Now, like I said, we did do some testing on our own and the results were actually pretty interesting. So we tested, of course, the Mac Studio with the M1 Max, as well as a MacBook Pro with the M1 Max, and of course, our Mac Pro over there. Now we exported one of our own videos, all ProRes with some 8K footage in it. Both the Mac Studio and the MacBook Pro finished with an export at about 4 minutes and 50 seconds, which is not surprising considering it's the exact same chip. And when we threw it on our Mac Pro, 5 minutes, 50 seconds. So it took a minute longer to export on a far more expensive machine. And that was just actually really, really eye-opening. But what was interesting is we talked about that crazy red raw footage just being a mess to work with. With the M1 Max machines, it exported at about 10 minutes and 40 seconds or so, I think what, 41. But when it came to the Mac Pro, exported it in 7 minutes. So that's pretty interesting to me. When it's not a workflow that's completely optimized with ProRes, it seems like there's still advantages of having the Mac Pro. So thankfully, it's not a complete waste of money that we've got over there. But it goes to show you that these are also extremely, extremely powerful, especially if you're working with ProRes footage. It's just absolutely insane. So with the absolute craziest footage that we have access to, it feels like the Mac Pro still has its value, but I feel like overall, this is going to be the overall better value considering the price difference and the performance that you get out of it. And the portability. What's cool is that this is basically the MacBook Pro, but in a different form factor. So if you want to have like a studio setup where the computer lives, you don't move it, the Mac Studio is definitely going to be that option. But if you need something that's on the go, the MacBook Pro, pretty much the same thing. It's crazy that these M1 chips can be in different systems but perform the same. And Apple even had some other demos that were a little bit outside of our wheelhouse and the kind of things that we do here, but it's crazy to see that it can perform on all these different levels at a really high level. So the value that you're getting out of the studio is absolutely insane. Now, Apple says there's gonna be one more machine coming. That's probably gonna be at WWDC, so I'm pumped to see that come. But as of right now, this is nuts. Now the real test is to get that Ultra. I wanna compare the Ultra to like our Mac Pro, see how it handles red raw footage. That might be the missing link, Jay. Might be the missing link. But that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Want to just give you a quick little unboxing and rundown of how these things perform, what you're gonna get your hands on, and I'm not mad at it. Until next video, guys, it's your average consumer. If you want to see more Apple content, we've got a bunch of videos coming, so definitely make sure you're subscribed. We'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, peace.